This right here, Apple Watch, my least favorite thing from Apple. And let's talk about it. You see, this is my problem with Apple, and in particular, the Apple Watch. You see that there? You see how cracked it is? Ooh. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would I throw and drop my perfectly good Apple Watch, space gray by the way, awesome color, but why would I purposely drop it repeatedly, right? And the answer is, this was already broken, it's already cracked. So I just want you to see how it looks. I dropped it twice actually. The first time I dropped it is outside on the concrete in the driveway. It was fine, very, very small scratch on it, if you want to call it that. That's all I had. And then on another occasion, I actually dropped it when I was putting it on, like this, in my house, mind you, like right on my dresser. So like right here, here's the dresser. And I'm putting it on, and it just, as I'm like trying to get it, just shoot. That time, which was the second time I dropped it ever, when it hit, it was just like, wah! It landed flat, like you can hear like how flushed it landed with the ground. And upon impact, you just knew, you fucking knew that it cracked. So yeah, if you don't know by now, smartwatches are still the craze. They're everywhere. They pair up with your device. You can text and make calls with them. Use other useful apps like tracking your heartbeat, sensor, all that stuff, right? Walkie-talkie, even accessing your phone's camera using this. Well, not this, right? You see how bad it looks now. Look at that bad boy there. Woo. And yeah, this is my agreements with it, if you will. Number one is it's too delicate for me in terms of just the way that I normally carry my things. As I mentioned, I only dropped it twice. The second time it was done for. It may not have been this broken, but the screen was broken enough to where I couldn't use it, and I had to replace it and get a different watch. So that's number one. Number two is that they get outdated so fast. Like, you can keep the same one, and you notice Apple's and they're known for this, right? You get the shortened battery life. All of a sudden your battery starts running out a lot faster. If you have an older Apple Watch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll charge it 100%, and before you even leave your house for work or for school or wherever you got to go, right? They'll drop to like 80 or 60%. So that is something that happens with Apple devices. In particular, I experienced that with the Apple Watch. Now, the last thing is, even if you don't drop it, right? It's in prime condition. You have the case for this. You have a screen protector. You have a case for it, and you keep it, right? It's still going to be worth a lot less the longer you keep it. Just like all type of tech does, because again of the updates in technology, the internal systems, the operating system, like for Apple products, and then overall the look and the aesthetic. A square watch will always be in style. The band itself, I mean, as long as it tells time, it's a watch, there's going to be a need for it. But in particular, Apple Watch, like the new Apple Watch Max, right? It's a whole new design. It's making others obsolete. That's going to come along, and regardless of how well you took care of this, your battery life's going to be shorter. Eventually, you won't be able to update it sync with your newer devices, and it becomes obsolete. It's cool to have around. It's cool to have an old piece of tech around. There's companies that literally sell these taken apart, not broken, but taken apart, and they frame them up for you. It looks really nice, really cool piece of art on your wall, at home or in your office, wherever. But yeah, I mean, eventually, this obviously will not be worth anything now, but even if it's in prime condition, unless it's in a box, it's not really worth much anyway. Now, I know you're thinking like, well, why'd you do that to your watch? Again, this was already cracked. It's just for the video. I have a new one that I got later on, and it works just fine. It's up to date. Battery's not running out fast yet, but yeah, that was just for the video. It's an old one that I had that actually did break on its own. But that leads me to the next point is an actual watch. I don't have a Rolex or something, no fancy Patek Philippe, but just a good hardcore, like watch that can just take a beating, and for me that's G-Shock. Now in particular, I do like shiny things as much as the next person. I do like, you know, nice watches that would hold and retain the value. But for me, G-Shock is just the way to go, because even as time flies, this one in particular, amongst others, don't run out of battery a lot faster. They still hold their battery. They still tie like they're supposed to do. They aren't necessarily outdated. Eventually become hard to find and can be worth something. May not be a whole bunch, but overall, they still do what they're supposed to do, which is tell time. That said, I don't think I'll, after my current one, not this one, after my current Apple Watch finally gives out or becomes too outdated to even update or work, this is too slow, right? I think after that I won't get another one. I'll probably just stick with G-Shock or a nice, you know, watch that lasts a good while, lifetime maybe, right? And I think I'll continue to do that in terms of when it comes to my watches. It could have, the price I spent, you know, the amount of money I spent on this one, I could have done something else that, or purchased something else, that would have lasted me a longer time. So aside from my current Apple Watch that I have that does work, just so you can see, it's right here. There it is, you can see it. And it works just fine. It operates just fine. No issues at all with it whatsoever. But I think after that one gives out or becomes outdated, I won't be buying another Apple Watch, just because, at least for me, how long they last in terms of tech updates and whatnot. It's a good, you know, few years. But the battery life that I did notice with this one, even before I dropped it, does start to run out of battery pretty fast after like a year or two. And then because of just like everyday activities, the way I not so much treat my watches, but just like, I guess, carry myself, you could say, something like a G-Shock would be better for me. And I'm not even like, I wouldn't consider myself necessarily the outdoors man, or like, you know, I do so much stuff with my hands and nothing like that. I'm not a blue collar worker for sure. But just like, if you're paying this much for something like this, it should be useful for quite some time. I don't feel like this right here is holding up its end of the value in terms of what you get out of it and how long it actually lasts. I'm sure if you don't drop it, it'll last even longer. You take care of your things, you know. For the most part, I'd say I take care of my stuff. It should last you a good while, but yeah, this thing again, just based on how, I guess you can call it clumsy if you like, I am or aren't that day, it's just fine, no concern. Nothing wrong with the screen, battery, it tells time still, it holds its shape really well, and even when I put it on, I literally feel like it's not gonna fall off. When I put this on and I'm not holding it, it's balanced to an extent, but if it's not just right, it will slide right off. But yeah, that's my rant. That's my rant for today. Apple Watch is my least favorite product of theirs. If you're considering buying one, take what I said, you know, into consideration, and if you still end up buying it, hope you enjoy. Hope you get as much use out of it as you want. And if you buy something else, like a different watch or something just completely different, let me know in the comments what you buy, and also what you think of it if you have one, or you're like, no, I'm never gonna buy one because it's Apple or whatever. Why would I need a, you know, smartwatch? Let me know in the comments too. And that reminds me, happy 2024. It's not the first video of the year, but it's the first video that I record in 2024. So hope you liked it, hope you subscribe, follow along, comment and like and engage with the content, share it with others, share it with people who love Apple, share it with those who are Apple haters. And I like comparing this type of stuff in tech, you know. But I gotta go, watch the time, and it says it's time to go. Peace.